Hello, welcome to Gnashing of Teeth, episode 2. I'm Casey.
It's Milo. Welcome, guys.
What's up, Top G? How you been?
That's pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
So, in the last podcast, you talked about how you had a chart, the history of magic. Who is that by? Like,
It was in Peter Carroll's Lieber Null. Uh, it's a double book I have. That's Psychonaut on it too. So this is a chaos magic thing. Uh,
okay.
I believe it. I think it originated with that Austin Osmar. I'm saying it wrong. I know I'm butchering it. So if I'm butchering it, let me know in the comments or in our email. But I think it's
Yeah.
Austin Osmar Spar who kind of started this kind of magic, and then Peter Carroll in his group really took on chaos magic and made it what it is. So it was really interesting to read the timeline, and so later on, we'll kind of talk through it. It's kind of cool.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. So we also talked about how we got into the occult,
Yep.
but we didn't really talk about like kind of where we're at. And I guess I'll kick things off since I'm already talking.
Yeah. So like, you're talking like current
So,
state, current like this is how we
yeah,
got
like
in.
what
Now it's current like this is
where
currently yeah, okay. Yeah, no, go.
Yeah, what we're currently learning, what we're currently working through type deal.
Yeah.
So basically, my collection of books has included a lot about witchcraft and left hand path for a majority of the middle time, right? So the beginning, a lot of the middle was that. And, I could name The Crooked Path, which is a guide on traditional witchcraft. It's a really good book. I really like it personally. In the first episode, I obviously mentioned the complete book of demonolatry, and
Yeah, that's your go-to, isn't it?
ask go to yeah yeah
That's the go-to.
kind of
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Aseneth Mason, which is a writer, is another particular one I like when it comes to left hand path reading, and she came out with the Draconian Ritual book, and
Hmm.
she also came out with Lilith, the Dark Feminine Archetype, which is another book that I've read of hers. And recently, however, I've been much more into Mesopotamian magic. So
Oh
things
wow.
like, Rod and Ring by Samuel L. David, which is an initiation into, Mesopotamian religion. It has a bunch of hymns and things like that. And he also recently came out with Song of Inanna, and that's hymns to the goddess Inanna in Mesopotamian uh, religion.
There's a Sumerian
Uh,
tie. There's a Sumerian tie back to her.
mhm.
Right. Ishtar. I think the Sumerian name
Ishtar,
is Ishtar that resonates with Indian. I'm not sure. I'm
I,
not sure.
th I
There's
think
a lot of names associated with Inanna.
right, yeah,
Inanna,
yeah,
whatever.
but I think Inanna is the original, and it branches off into Ishtar, which is I think Akkadian or something. I don't, I it doesn't even
Akkadian. Yeah. Well,
Akkadian,
again,
yeah,
again, if someone knows the answer, let us know.
right,
We'll bring it up. Send us an
exactly,
email. We'll
exactly.
we'll talk about it.
Please correct me.
Yes. Yeah.
So So yeah, the Song of Inanna, which is, something I'm particularly interested in, the divine feminine, obviously, and the seven names of Lamashtu or Lamashtu, whichever you prefer, which is also a journey through Mesopotamian magic. It's by Jan Fries. Jan Fries.
Now you
Particular,
that's the last one you sent me a picture of, right?
yes,
Yeah, it looks
huge
good.
book, pretty pricey, but definitely has a lot of good information on the Mesopotamian religion and how kind of people lived back then too.
Yeah.
So currently, it's mainly Mesopotamian magic, and the divine feminine is kind of what I'm working on going through.
But yeah,
But
but you took a class, right? You took a class from a guy too. You're learning from, right?
yes, Yes, Jason Miller,
Mm.
Sorcery of Hecate.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Mhm.
So, which is in a whole nother pantheon,
Sure. Yeah.
Hellenistic Greek pantheon, but definitely good. So, yeah.
Yeah. I looked at that next one, the Saint Cyprian one. I got on his site and I looked at that. That looks pretty cool. And even the name of all his chapters are pretty banging.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I want to try to go through that. Do you know if when he does those courses, can you just go back and do them whenever like if I can't do it now and I want to do the Saint Cyprian course like a year from now, does he have it cataloged where I can
You
just
can, yeah, he sends you the lessons.
oh,
So
okay,
basically you can save them to your computer or hard drive or whatever, and you can have them. And obviously I took notes and saved
sure.
the files.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So
so yeah.
if I want to do it like, this summer, I can do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. No, it looks cool. I mean, it
Mhm.
literally looks cool. When you told me about it, I was skeptical, and then when I looked at it, I was like, man, this is the real deal here. This is good stuff. Yeah, really
Yeah.
good. Well, I suppose where I'm at right now is, obviously, I moved, and so all my stuff is coming. So
Mhm.
I don't have my books and stuff with me. Um, a lot of my
Yeah.
books that I have, I have many. I actually I use them for reference a lot. There'll be a
Mhm.
question, it'll be something. I'll be like, "Where did I hear that?" And I reference back to a lot of my occult books. Um,
Right.
I recently, so I had read Liber Null and Psychonaut, but I recently had bought that, and then I have the book somewhere with me. There's a book about sigil and something. It's right over there. I forget who wrote it, but I have it. If you want to know the info on that one, let me know. So those are the kind of the two books I've been reading. Um, been slowly. So just so you guys know, um, I was doing a lot of sigil, a lot of chaos magic, a lot of the subconscious, and a lot of like charging of things, and a lot of writing, like spelling.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you know, Milo was the one that was like really like reaching out to like, entities and fallen angels and different things. And he had we were just kind of bantering one day, and he says, "Man, you've like I don't know why you're not like taking it a step further, right?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. Like the purple crackle happened in episode one. I was talking about it, and it scared me, and I ran into my home. Like
Yeah.
I'm not skeptical. I'm just a little, I'm still
Yeah.
learning. And you're the one that
Mhm.
took the leap. And so I'm now, I guess my state now is I'm just kind of taking some leaps. I'm taking some chances. I'm doing some things, kind of following you, and trying some interesting things. And it's you always teach about meditation and intention and doing the ends, and getting the right offering, and that kind of thing. So it's a beautiful thing, and what an amazing feeling you get.
Mhm.
One,
Yeah.
and then obviously the outcomes of it are really incredible. So I still have that. I'm still into my chaos magic sigil kind of thing, but
Yeah.
I'm also jumping in the to Milo's world of where he is. And so yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at, and it's been opening up some things that have really been eye opening, really cool. Uh, you know, just good stuff. It's just really good stuff. We can get into the detail in other episodes for sure of
Right. Right. Yeah.
how these
Yeah.
work and how this happened, how this didn't happen,
Mhm.
and I've had sigils go horribly wrong, and I've had them
Yeah.
go horribly well. And you learn how to say it,
Mhm.
how to have the intention, and how to do all that stuff. And yeah,
Yeah.
you learn. We've learned the hard way, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
Because the author in all these great books, they've got a little
Mhm.
bit they kind of keep in. They got a little bit they got in their pocket, right?
Yeah. Right.
They're
Mhm.
going to give you the roadmap, but they're not giving you the car. Okay, they give you the
Right.
message. You have to have the vehicle to move through it, right? So
Mhm.
that's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. You know, I read one time that, and again, I don't know who. Milo and I read so much stuff, and we have so many things, and there's so much internet stuff. But like, someone was like, "Hey, keep a diary, a journal of like everything you do," and I've kind of fallen off of that. But we do we have that. Things that have failed, things that have happened. I think sometime, if the podcast takes off and we do good, I think we could probably make that available at one point for people if they're, you know,
Yeah. Well,
part of our army of gnashing of teeth or whatever.
Gnashing of Teeth podcast. Yeah, for sure. We could like write a book of sorts. We could collab and do something like that for sure.
I think we could write several books. I
Pro
could
well,
you could probably write a whole book on Lilith, and I could probably write a whole book on Asmodeus.
yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
by the
Yeah.
way, he's the one that turned me on to Asmodeus. It's a different. It's not for now. It'll be for a later show for sure.
Right.
Absolute
Yeah.
life changing though. Absolute life changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Crazy.
that sounds about right though. That's kind of where we are, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
What do you? Let me
And
ask you. Let me. No, go. I'm sorry. Go.
no, you actually you
I will
were
go.
kind of in there.
I was
Okay.
in there. Let me ask you this: Where do you think you're gonna? What are you gonna pursue the next year or two in the occult? Like, what do you foresee you doing moving forward? Are you gonna just let it go where it takes you, or are you gonna kind of?
It's it's been so drastic. It's
I know,
crazy. You just
I
and
know.
it's mainly from experience. When I originally reached out to Lilith, I thought the whole thing was a myth. I was like, yeah, it's kind of whatever.
We all do.
But
We all
you
do.
you get the coincidences, and then you get kind of just the upfront flare, and like I remember having my first dream, and I woke up excited, and I was scared shitless of what was going to happen, but I instantly pursued her, and I branched off into other things, and it's just all over the place depending on experiences and things that I learn. And I'm not sure, like as I said, like right now I'm working on mo Mesopotamian magic, and reaching out more to the divine feminine, obviously through Lilith, and obviously the course that I took through Jason Miller for Hecate. I've been reaching out that way, and it's
Yeah, I love the story, and correct me if I have this wrong. The story of how you got into Lilith, and you're reading about her and you were learning about her, but it was her sigil that you thought was really beautiful. Like you saw it and you were like, that is important. Like that is really amazing. Her sigil, like you fell in love with the sigil, and then when you're already kind of loving her and what she was teaching and all that, it's like super cool how you fell onto that Lilith path. I felt like
yeah,
it was more like you liked what that was doing or what she was doing, and that like connected you to her. Yeah.
yeah. So in the S. Conley book, the Complete Book of Demonology, and I won't get too much into this. Obviously, we
Well,
can
we can do it later. Yeah.
do another. But in her book, she like mentions if you are attracted to a daemon's name, which daemon is Greek for, a spirit complete with wisdom or something like that. But it's
Mhm.
it's the word derived. No, demon is derived from daemon, right? It's a very
How's it?
whatever.
Is that the DAI daemon?
D Daemon, which is
Oh, okay.
Greek.
Yeah,
for
gotcha.
spirit and complete with wisdom, and Christianity took it and kind of demonized it. But anyways,
Sure, sure.
she was the one that said if you are drawn to an entity's name, that's a good sign that they're like reaching out, right?
Hmm.
And that's what it was for Lilith. And I was going through all the sigils, and hers was the one that caught my eye, and two connected. And
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's a cool story.
but anyways, but yeah,
So
what about you?
I had a really cool experience. I'm not just like you. I'm not going to get into it, but I had a really neat experience with Asmodeus, and
Mhm.
my relationship with him was different. You recommended for me to reach out to him because um,
Hmm.
our personalities were so much alike, and it made sense, right?
Yeah.
And so I just kind of took your word for it. And it's not for this show right now, but it'll be for a later episode because it's a long one.
It
But
definitely is a long one. Yeah.
it's definitely a long one. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's really touched me. What's really cool is they say he walks with a limp, and not too long ago I shattered my ankle, and now I walk with a limp. So
Yeah.
that's all I'll say for now. But it's very cool. It's very cool
Yeah.
how that whole thing like fits together. You know
Yeah.
how how the occult can be either you see something that just resonates with you, or
Mhm.
someone else is like, hey, these personalities match. You should like try this. Otherwise,
Mhm.
I never would have. I love how you brought in the demonized thing, and I agree with that. And I don't think anyone did anything wrong, but there's a lot of like fallen angels that are
Mhm.
demonized in popular society, where they're considered evil, and they're really not. They're actually really helpful, and people
Yeah.
just need. But no one's going to know that until they do what you and I do and learn it on their own, learn it the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's
we help them through the podcast.
yeah, definitely. It starts by giving it thought. Jumping in definitely is scary, especially if you have, Christian preconceived like notions about it. When I first reached out to Lilith, I viewed her as like the literal quote unquote queen of hell. So like I'd tiny like I'd go to a corner and I'd pray to her, and then I'd
Yeah,
run to my bed, and then I'd pray to God afterwards. And it just didn't make sense at the time, but it was very weird. But I was a Christian at the time, and I thought, what I was doing was very wrong, very sinful. I had an idol, and it at times it was scary,
yeah,
especially if you believe, this person is the queen of hell. You're
right.
kind of like, yeah, I'm this this isn't looking good for a Christian.
Oh,
So
you don't got to tell me.
mhm.
Asmodeus scared the beer right out of me.
Yeah.
I was sober real quick, but I was also really excited, and I was also really scared. But I also felt
Yeah.
great, and I also was like, "What?" And I was also confused. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on there when you really connect. So it's
Yeah.
not for everybody, but again, it's the same concept of if you've read one book, one of the great books, and you come to me and you say, "This is what I think. This is what I believe." I'm going to say, "Good for you. That's great. Good for you."
Mhm.
You know, but I'm not going to ask that person for advice because like to me you're just kind of like it's kind of like if you got in an argument with grandpa,
Mhm.
my dad, and then I heard your story, and you're like, hey man, you got to side with me. Well, I'm going to be like, well, I got to hear his side.
Mhm.
why would i why would I read one book and not know the rest of the thing before I make a
All right.
decision? It sounds silly to me. So again, you know expanding, you're not it's not putting down anyone or anything like that. I think all religion is cool, but like for me and for you, it was, hey, we need to know more.
Yeah,
You gotta know.
it's like having binoculars on, right? And you're
Yeah.
like zooming in on one specific thing and proclaiming that this is all that life is and it's the truth. But you remove the, you know,
Mhm.
binoculars and you can see the bigger picture and there's so much more out there,
There is.
you
There's a
know? And
lot of.
even if you like read the Bible and you're like, okay, that's good, and you read all these other books and you come back to the Bible and you proclaim that's truth, you're much stronger in your foundations for being a Christian because you've read everything else, not
It,
necessarily everything else, but like a lot of other things, and you still came back to that, so that's your truth. And
you know,
yeah.
I had these. There was a knock on my door. This is when I lived in the desert,
Mhm.
and it was that Christian religion that came out of uh, it's John Smith got the gold tablets from Moroni. He wrote the thing. It's a Utah. Come on, man. Mormons, the Mormons.
Mormons. Okay. Yeah.
Mormons knock on my door, and if you, I had this apartment that was kind of dark, and it had a lot of left hand path things going on in there because I was living by myself. And
Mhm.
so I opened the door, and there's these two Mormon, they called them elders because they were allowed to like come try to get you into the church or whatever.
Right.
And I said, "Come on in, but you're not going to like what you see in here at all." And it was so cool because they came in and they went, "This is cool." And I said, "They're kids. I mean, they couldn't have been, 19 years old, maybe 20."
Mhm.
Um, and so I said, "Well, come on in," and they respected it, and they said, "What? Like, are you religious?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I'm an occultist." I said, I do believe in spirituality and all that." And I said, I follow the left hand path. And they're like, "Wow, that's cool." And I was like, "Wow." And
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And they're like, "Well, do you have occult books?" And I said, "Well, just look around." And they're sitting Indian style on the floor of my place, reading my occult books, going through them.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing. And so they said, "Will you listen to our religion?" And I said, "Absolutely." I said, "Come on in. Like, we're not going to argue duality. We're not going to do any of that. I just want to hear." And they were the coolest. They were the coolest guys ever. They were coming over every Wednesday. And, I drink a lot of beer. And so I was buying root beer for when they came over. That way we're all drinking beer. It was so much fun. They invited me to their church. I even went. I didn't go to like a sermon. Like we just went and walked around. But
Yeah.
they were fun, and they were very open to what I
Yeah.
was. And of course they were trying to pull me out of that and get me into what they were doing.
Right. Right.
But it was
Yeah.
so cool to hear someone else's belief, and hear like what they believe in. And I never argued with them. you know a lot of things
Mhm.
they were saying, I could have shattered instantly, but I didn't, because they're just good people. So why,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
really cool story. And they're like really cool guys. So environment plays a part on that too. I don't think I
Mhm.
could convince them in anything I believed, but they were
Yeah.
open-minded to it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. When's the last time you went to church or walked in one? Oh,
Actually, probably 3 months ago. 3 months ago.
really? You had to go to a
Yeah.
wedding, or you had to go to a wedding, or what?
No, I attended it out of curiosity. It's been a while, so I went to one. So yeah, it
What?
wasn't that bad.
No, what denomination did you go to?
Methodist.
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 Yeah, yeah, I grew up with Methodist. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
mom and dad are Methodist, and there's a church back in Ohio that they all went to, that I remember going to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
for
So
sure.
this magic chart, magic chart you got.
Oh, the
history of magic.
The history of magic. So this is really cool. So forgive me for reading off paper, first of all, everybody, because I don't have it in my head yet. But so basically, it might be hard to see, but it kind of starts with what they think, what Peter Carroll thinks, how it happened, and then kind of how it all branched and how it got to be where it kind of is. Okay. And so it's kind of like, and so I just wanted your opinion on it, because I haven't talked to you about this at all. And obviously, I want to thank Peter Carroll for, giving the info. But so basically, in the beginning, there's like animism and shamanism. This is kind of the beginning of this whole thing. I think it's more Sumerian, myself, and Josh Free would agree. Josh Free, need to get on our show, by the way. So then shamanism, then, and by the way, anyone who wants to be on our show and talk, you're welcome to join us, by the way. The shamanism branches off into four different groups. It's Egyptian magic, Zoroastrian magic, tantric magic, and the Taoist magic. Now, let me tell you a quick story real quick. We're gonna run out of time. Let me write this down because I'll forget this. I was a Freemason for many years. And there is something about Egyptian magic that's connected to Freemasonry. And I'm going to write that down because we'll talk about that in another episode. I don't think we don't have time right now. We've got 7 minutes. Okay. And then those kind of branch to, the Hellenic pagan and the Abrahamic kind of thing, right?
Right.
Excuse me. And then that kind of goes down to like the Hermetics, right? Hermes Trismegistus, thrice, whatever, the gold, the Emerald Tablet, fantastic book. Emerald Tablet. Have you read the Emerald Tablet? Really good, right? Kabbalah comes from that, and then it gets into more your area where it's like the Goetia and that kind of thing. Then it gets to like the Rosicrucian thing, and then it forms kind of this the Golden Dawn. Well, so Aleister Crowley's thing, the Order of the Golden Dawn, and all that. I'm actually a member of that, though. And then all of that gets summed up into 4 things. Okay. The Zoskia cultus, which is, I think that's Austin Osmar Spar's thing. Aleister Crowley, witchcraft, and sorcery. And then all that feeds what is called chaos magic. Okay. And so I know you like chaos magic, but it's not your cup of tea. But that like it's all kind of connected. That was the point I was trying to make. It really is all connected. Right. Like one learned from one and one morphed into another, and it ain't no different.
Right.
It would be no different if you and I collaborated on a book. We're going to collaborate on a book. It would be pieces of all this stuff. Right.
Yeah.
I think magic is always ever living and breathing, and people are finding things that work. And then they teach it. Yeah. And that's how we're learning, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? That was pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Not having the paper in front of me is a bit interesting. You'll have to send me something. But
I can shoot it to you.
But I do agree that everything is sort of interconnected. I don't know if everything leads to necessarily chaos magic, but I think chaos magic is could be a big part of it.
I think what Peter's doing is, I think Peter's saying, this is what I've gathered and put together to make chaos magic, or to teach it, or to fundamentally he's putting it all together. He's right. It'd be nice to have him on the show to explain it more, but it's almost like he's a disciple of Austin Osmar Spar, and then he ultimately, it's working for him. Things are happening, right? And he believes, right? So super cool, super cool. Okay. I'm going to take a picture of this and I'm going to just send it to you so you have it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So hang on. Just do it. Okay. That's
Yeah.
it.
And
I'm sending it to you right now.
awesome. And guys, if you have any questions, again, you can comment on the YouTube video, or if you're listening to the actual podcast via just audio, you can email us at gnashingofteeth@gmail.com.
Yeah. Any corrections that you think we got wrong or anything you want to add or, we're we're still students and we're still learning, but we have a lot to teach as well.
Yeah.
We are running out of time, bro. We have just a couple minutes. As we close this down, I want to thank Dave Williamson. He is a musician. He's an instrumental musician of like just really good metal. Great guy, good person. And so I asked him permission to like have him cut our intros and outros. He jams. So just want to thank him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, for sure.
that's what we're gonna do from there. So yeah, if anyone wants to be a guest, anybody wants to hop on, we're gonna be reaching out to people. Be nice to get some other people in here to debate, to talk, to
For sure.
all of us have a collective learning of the left-hand path.
Yeah.
So to that, I say, Milo, do you have anything to end with? And then we'll say goodnight.
No, just tune into the next one. It's going to be fun. We got a lot more planned, and yeah,
We got a lot going on. This
for
is
sure.
gonna be good. Yeah, this is the start of a big thing, and Milo and I aren't gonna stop. So whether we get viewers or not, we don't care.
Yeah.
It's almost better having 5 people who we're working with who are super interested than having 1,000 people that just don't care.
Yeah,
Just cut
for
us
sure.
off. All right. Hey, gnashing of teeth. Like Milo said, send us, whatever email or the comments and yeah, we'll hit you up here in a few and we'll get these online quick. All right. Top
sure.
G. I'm out of here.
All right, see you.
Later.